really proud of our guys. Back to bowl eligible again for the 6th straight year, and that's last time since I think Jeremy's not in here. Rick, did he say the late 70s?
Yes, sir.
I think we were 7 in a row in the 90s, but proud that our guys have extended their season. A lot of young people couldn't come from the hole they were in to the positive attitude that they've had for the last 3 weeks. This game was very tough. You got to give Wake Forest a lot of credit. We didn't play as well offensively in the passing game as we have the last 3 weeks. Defensively, we continued to play great. We're stopping the run and running the ball. We won the turnover game tonight, and when you do that, the large majority of the time, you're going to win a game. And the kicking game was good. So I'm really proud of our guys and want to give Dave Clawson credit and his team credit because they always are so well coached and they play so hard, and they didn't let up. And we knew that. You're not going to make those guys quit. So proud of our guys, proud of Omarian. He passed Kelvin Bryant and Don McCauley, which are 2 of the iconic players in this university's history. He had 249 yards and another touchdown. He's tough. He takes care of the ball. He protects. In the passing game, he's very very humble. He never asks for the ball. I guess you don't have to when you get it 35 times, but he usually makes some plays when he has to help us win the game. So very proud of him. Defensively, we did so many good things. There's a couple of things that we've got to fix. You'd like to have shut it down in the end, but they were the difference in the ball game by forcing the turnover, especially on a short field, and giving us a chance to win. I was disappointed we didn't score a touchdown on the first drive. We had 2 sacks in a row when we were at the 4-yard line. You can't do that, and then we missed a field goal. So we could have gotten started right. I was proud that we got the field goal with a 1-minute drive right before the half, and I was proud that we had a long drive right after they had a drive to answer. So we won the middle 10-7. So all of those things were different in winning. But really proud. Tylee's mom was in the locker room after the game, and she broke them down with "Keep Swinging," which was his favorite slogan. And she had a smile on her face and went to see his locker. So it was really good to have her in there and see her with a smile on her face. Can I answer questions?
You asked me a lot of times the last couple of years about Omarian. So I'm going to ask you about him again. Can you maybe describe it maybe in a different way than you have before? Because tonight was just a different level.
All of these young people are very talented or they wouldn't be here. And you ask them why they play. They play because they're very talented, but they have to love to compete because that's what they do at the highest level. And I told them before the game, you work 350 days for 13 Saturdays or 14 Saturdays. So it's got to be so important to you. And you've got to be consistently good to be great. He is consistent with everything he does in his life. He eats right. He works out. He has no vices. He's a good student. He's a great person. He's very unselfish. When we weren't moving the ball or blocking very well for him in the third quarter, he's quiet, but I saw him slip down and go to every offensive lineman and just tap him on the head and say, "We're good. Come on. Let's finish this thing." So he's got such a gentle strength of leadership about him. But he's one of the best players and people that I've ever been around, and really proud of what he's accomplished. And we've said before that he could have left here very easily in a time of NIL where people are talking to your players and they're leaving for always greener grass, and he stayed here, and it's worked for him too.
And what follow-up to that? You had some big-time backs when you were here the first time and in Texas. What's a common thread that he had to some of those guys?
He's so powerful. He gets better in the fourth quarter than he does the first. He's got 4.4 speed at 220 pounds, and that's freakish. But to be unselfish, to be a team guy that the players all love and admire, it's just a very unique quality that makes him special.
One of his last carries of the game, he carried about 5 guys in the end zone.
He did.
Is that kind of the essence of Omarian?
It is who he is. He knew that we had a chance to put the game away. They were all on the line of scrimmage. We weren't going to throw it. They knew it, we knew it, and they were ducking down low and submarining the line of scrimmage. He just jumped over them and then ran it in, which again is a great instinct for a tremendous back.
Mack, the Tar Heels who have rushed for at least 200 yards in 3 different games are Kelvin Bryant, Mike Boyd, Kelvin Bryant, Amos Lawrence, and Omarian Hampton. First of all, did he give a speech in the locker room again? And second of all, I mean, you mentioned how he just stays level-headed and makes no deal about whether he gets 32 carries or 12 carries.
Yeah, when you rushed for 249 yards, I told them, and they all said, really? Oh my gosh. But he didn't want to talk. So he's not going to say anything. And it gets pretty natural for him to run like that. He's just he is a player that changes games. He makes their defense line up to stop him, and where we've got to get better is we've got to take advantage of those alignments that are just totally in place to stop him, so we can finish strong.
Did he give a speech?
No, he did not. In fact, September's mom talks about as much as Omarian did, and I asked her to, and she said, good job. So that would have been about what Omarian would have said.
Back on the topic of bowl eligibility, you kind of clinched, I guess, at different points in your second year back. You've gotten to that 6-0, 6-1, getting toward the end here. How, I guess, crucial is it for you guys to just kind of get it out the way and just kind of get it taken care of, for these next years?
I think it's not our goal. It's an early goal. It's not the ultimate goal, obviously. But when you're 6-0 and 6-1 and get to a bowl, you kind of say, "Hey, we knew that. We're going to do that anyway. That's fine." But now we've got other things. For this team to have been in such a hole, very few teams, in my estimation, could have come out of this, and that means they've got great character. I'm so proud of the coaches that they've hung in there, because they were in a hole and everything was negative. And then you lose a 23-year-old that's crushing. It doesn't happen very often in your life, and you never want it to happen. You can take 2 different paths. You can go down and just quit, and you got plenty of excuses. And they didn't do that. They kept their head up, they kept fighting, they kept competing, and I think that's why they're so proud tonight. And I told them 2 had been easy, this one wasn't easy, but you kept your head up and you kept fighting, and that's what you've learned through all the turmoil and tribulation through the season this year. And I've learned probably as much in the last 6 weeks as I've learned my whole life. And sometimes to see the stars, you got to go through the darkness, and that's kind of what we've done. And I like what's happened with this team and how they've responded to it.
Defensively, how did you guys shut down? I don't want to say shut down. You had 24 points, but it seemed really like defense was in control all night. How did you guys do it?
Yes, we've been a great defensive team now for 3 weeks. And we've done it, and they've got the slow mesh, which is tough, and their running back's a great player. He's not a good player. He made us miss, I won't say who it was, in a hole, and ran for about 25 yards. And we're right in the hole. And he's you look up, and they hand it to him on the slow mesh, and he's made 5 yards. And you can't even see him. We're all around him. We're trying to knock him back. So I'm really, really proud. Offensively, we gave Wake Forest a really short field like they did us at the 6-yard line with a fumble, which you can't do. And especially when you're up 24-10, that's when we have to learn at 24-10. They're not a throwing team. If you take that drive and go score and you make it 31-10, then they have to go faster. They have to open it up, and that's not who they are. And we didn't do that, and that was a disappointment. But just really proud of Jeff Collins and the defensive staff. They've stopped the run. They've disrupted the quarterback. We forced 2 turnovers last week. We had 4 tonight? Or 3? Had 3 tonight. So now they're starting to force more turnovers and go into Boston College. They're running the ball really, really well. So we'll have our hands full going on the road next week again.
In all the games, all the great running backs you've coached, particularly here at
It's as good as any. I mean, 249 yards is just absolutely unbelievable. I was on a radio show before the season started, and somebody said, where does he rank in the great backs you've coached? And I said, he's in the middle of it. And he really is. And there's some great ones. But everybody in the country would want Omarian Hampton on their team, and he's going to be a great pro player.
Coach, when you were first recruiting Omarian Hampton, did you expect him to be this good and this excellent at this point in the season?
You do, but you never know for sure because the competition's so much tougher here than it is in high school. And you watch him, and he's so dominant in high school, but you're just not sure. If you're taking 17-year-olds and you're projecting 22-year-olds, and are they going to act right? Are they going to go to school? Are they going to stay out of trouble when they get away from their parents? Are they going to make their grades? Are they going to stay healthy? And thank goodness he's done all of the above. And what you try to do is recruit a player that you can project from a good player to be a great player. And he was a really good player playing against 16, 15-year-olds. He has been a great player playing against older guys that are really talented.
So on that point, is he still surprising you, or are you just expecting him to do this way?
I'm getting kind of that point now. I just expect it. And in fact, when I look up and I don't realize he's carried it 35 times, and I'll tell Coach Porter, why is he out of the game? And he said he'd run it 15 straight times, so he needs a break. Well, he was the only player, I think, that I would call a timeout for to get him back in if we were around the goal line, because he needed to be that way. So, and tight end or timeouts are precious, but I would call a timeout to get him back in the game in a critical situation.
Mack, even as the sacks have piled up the last couple of weeks, you've been preaching the need for more turnovers. The ones you got tonight, the pick six by Power Eccles, the one late where Travis Shaw picks up the fumble, Josh Harris is in there. These ended up helping you seal the game. These not only were you preaching it, you had to have it tonight. Is what I guess the point I'm trying to make.
We did. When you have three phases, sometimes one of them doesn't work as well. And tonight we didn't throw the ball as well, and that's something we've got to do better. And if you're not clicking in one of those phases, somebody else has to step up. And the defense started saying tonight, it's 24-10. They don't score again, they can't win. And then when it was even 24-17, they don't score again, they can't win. And even to a point that they forced a turnover and let us pretty much finish the game. And that's something we haven't done around here for 6 years. And what Jeff promised me when I hired him is what I've seen for the last 3 weeks. And I'm really, really proud of that. And running the ball and stopping the run and disrupting the quarterback and winning the turnover battle is going to win you 80-something to 90% of the games. And that's what we've done for the last 3 weeks.
And just to follow up on that, the different people the last couple of weeks, Rucker, Bo, Ritzy, tonight's Power, and some of those interior dudes. Is it heartening for you as a coach that more and more guys are coming to the forefront here with some of these game-changing plays?
It really is, and you look up after the game, you have to go back and see who made the sacks. And I thought Dez showed up a lot tonight, and he was back around the quarterback. So when you put Dez and Ritzy and Bo and Rucker in there together, that's four of the best pass rushers in the country. So it's really, really tough. And we're starting to stop the run more now on first and second down, so we're getting more third and longs where you can put your pass rush team in and have a better chance to get turnovers.
The defense has 3 touchdowns in the last 5 games, 1 at each level. What have you seen from them to really make those game-changing and big plays when you guys have together?
Confidence. Confidence is such a powerful thing in our lives. And when you don't have it, it's like a disease. It just beats you down. When you walk into a room without confidence, somebody in there has more confidence than you do. They're going to take over whatever you want to take over. And our defense has never had confidence. They've been up and down. They've talked about it. They've never done it. For 3 weeks, they've done it. And right now, it's a very confident bunch. I thought our offense lost some confidence in the third quarter, and I was glad to see them come back out and do some really good things in the fourth quarter. In fact, I really wish JJ had caught the ball on 3rd and 3, because I think if he catches that one, we go score then instead of having to force the turnover, and that kills the clock. There was 5:07 left at that time in the clock. We're going to get it down to the 2-minute warning. Excuse me, I'm supposed to say 2-minute timeout for whatever reason, but still hadn't understood that, but I am supposed to. But confidence is such a wonderful thing in all of our lives. And if you don't have it, you're not going to end up on top. And right now, our defense has got it. Our offense has it some. Our kicking game is getting it. And our offense just needs to keep going. They've had it for 2 weeks. They didn't have it all the time tonight. So this will be a great week for them to get their confidence back up going on the road.
On top of that, that's 5 different games where you've had a non-offensive touchdown.
Yeah.
That's got to be a massive lift, especially during a period when you're ushering in a third-string quarterback and everybody's trying to come together.
Yeah, I was so proud of Javari Ritzy at Virginia. He's worked so hard here for so many years, and that was just an unbelievable play. And his mom was sitting next to Sally in the stands and jumped on her. So they were celebrating up in the stands. And then for Power's done so much for this program. And this year, his name hadn't been talked about as much. So for him to intercept the ball, and I was so proud that not only did he intercept it, but he ends up running it back for the touchdown. Those are 2 special young people that deserve to get recognition, and I was glad they got it. And Marcus Allen made a tremendous play tonight, too. I thought there were a couple of questionable calls on the pass interference on both ends. On both teams. So we've got a couple of those to turn in, but really proud of the ball in the end zone before they threw the touchdown. When they had the defensive pass interference, I thought Marcus was going to intercept that one and finish the game then. So, but really, really proud of those guys.
Matt, speaking of confidence, you know how unkind the end of the years have been over these last few years. What did you see when you walked in the locker room? Did you get the feeling that guys are kind of getting loose at the end of this year as opposed to
Yeah.
years past?
When I was walking off the field and seeing the students all still there singing the fight song and seeing those guys so happy, and then as I was walking in the tunnel, one of our great players that's a senior looked at another one and started screaming and said, "We are bowl eligible, man. This is so cool." And I thought, that's why we have bowls. It's been too easy for us to get there. We hadn't finished, but this team is kind of, they're on a mission to finish right. And that's what we said in January, and that's what they're doing. We didn't start right. I wish we could do both, but we haven't learned to do that yet. But right now, they're playing good football, and I'm really, really proud of them, and I'm enjoying watching them play, watching them have fun.
Matt, Jacoby was sacked, I think, 4 times in the first quarter, and then only 1 time in the remaining 3 quarters. Was it just a matter of shifting protection? What do you attribute to that?
I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch it. I was surprised because we've protected so well, and we were running the ball so well. The 2 on the goal line were kind of, I got mad at Chip. You're on the forward, and you got Omarian. I wouldn't be dropping back. So I had a little anger management issue there at that point. But that was 2 of them. But I didn't think we protected very well. There were some guys wide open, and he got hit or got rushed, and he bounced a couple of balls to Jacoby that were, to Kobe Pesor that were wide open. So we've got to go back and look at that. Anybody else? And here is Omarian Hampton. Come on up here, Omarian.